Brad, could you explain the process, what we're gonna see here?
Yeah, what I'm doing, this is one of our main characters, Fish, one of our box trolls, and I'm just going to show you how we create an animated performance. And it's physically getting in and manipulating a puppet bit by bit, 24 times a second. So I'll get my hands, I just took a frame. So I'll get my hands in here, I'll move his hands up a little bit, I'll move his torso a tad, I'll move his head back to counter the movement of his head. I'll toggle it on the monitor and watch it, see how it looks. Correct his hand. Take a frame, and we just do that over and over and over again until we have an animated performance, whether it's 2 seconds or 20 seconds or 30 seconds.
So if the character does a gesture like this,
yeah,
that's a lot of.
Well, you time it. You would time it out, so it would be 1/1000. So it would take about a half second. So it would be about 12 frames to get from here to here. So you plot it out. You have an exposure sheet that breaks every bit of animation down. So each line is a frame of animation, and you chart out the timing. You work out the timing with doing video reference or dialogue, and you can track when you want your hand to hit certain points, and you keyframe it like you would in 2D animation, sort of like when you're flipping the page. So you kind of know that you'll do a block. Like we always do we don't just start out with a performance. We're always given three goes at it. So you do the block, which is sort of keyframing. So you hit the point, the gestures that you want to get. Directors approve that, and then you do a rehearsal. So you work between those keyframes. So, and you'll do that roughly on 2s or 3s, meaning taking 2 pictures or 3 pictures of per movement of animation. And then when the directors approve it, when the directors are happy with that or pleased with that, they'll send you out, and we'll sit in and we'll move the puppet 1 frame at a time, take a picture, another frame, move him again, take a picture, and get our animated performance.
This is an actual set here that from the.
Yeah, this is our market square. One of, I think we have 4 market squares, and this is just a portion of it. It's a massive set. So they break it into, it's put together modularly. Yeah, it's modular, so they can shoot this way, and they can shoot the reverses on another unit somewhere else.
He's the only character, the only puppet on your set here. If you were to have other characters, like a whole bunch of them, would you have to just line them up?
Yeah, so it's regardless of how many puppets you have, one animator is responsible for everything on one particular set. So if I have just Fish, it's, you're pleased, it goes a lot quicker, you just animate Fish, but I could have 10 other puppets. And at that point you would, you'd animate this guy, you'd look on your grabber and make sure everything was right, you'd move on to the next guy, animate him, make sure everything was right, and you just sort of work your way down the line. And obviously the more puppets you have, the longer it takes to do. And we're responsible for, I like the animators our quota is 6 seconds a week. So it's 150 frames of animation per week per animator. So it's a slow going process.
And you do this alone? Or do you have?
Well, we have once you're on your set animating, it's just the animator and his crazy mind and his puppets. But you have a whole camera team that sets up the camera, a lighting team that sets up the lights. Somebody else makes the puppets, but for my part of the process, you're all alone, just you and your puppet.
So what are you using as your reference? You're not going back to the drawing, so you're using.
No, we don't.
It's already animated, right?
Oh no, none of this stuff is animated ahead of time. So we'll meet with the directors and editorial, and we'll go over what they're looking for the performance, and then we'll go away and we'll do we call them labs, live action videos, and we'll do a performance ourselves so we can get an idea of what we're trying to do and get the timing down and tweak it in editorial, and that becomes our reference. So it's really.
Do you see one of those?
I don't have one of those on hand, but yeah, we can get you one of those. Some of them are really uncomfortable to watch because none of us are, if we could act, we'd be in front of the camera. We can just act through these things. There's many things that you wanted, that I can. It's a point of reference, really, because my acting on the camera is not what ultimately is going to come out on him, but it's a guide to do what I really want to be able to do, if that makes any sense.
Did you play with these characters when you were a kid? How did you get into it?
I made little short films with little G.I. Joe characters when I was a kid with my parents' Super 8 camera. And then I just kind of got away from it and took an animation class in college and discovered I could sculpt. And it sort of, after that, it became obvious what I wanted to do. It's almost as if somebody put me that, turned my shoulders this way and said, keep walking, kid.